everybody doing this morning?
I think the girls with their nails done.
The tire world, the industry. So let's get going. Boom! All right. So what's going on here? And yes, my thumbnail. First and foremost, Jett with his knee. He's hurt. He's going to have ACL surgery. And we've seen multiple guys be able to come back from it. And with the East Coast coming up, which we will talk about a little bit of the East Coast, it's going to be difficult with the ruts. So honestly, I think he did the smartest thing, was to phone it in, call it quits, know when to fold them and hold them. And right now you're racing against the best Tomac we've ever seen, potentially the best Sexton we've ever seen, potentially the best Roxon we've ever seen, and also the best Webb we've ever seen. Anderson's right up there. I still haven't seen a major breakout ride from Anderson, but he's all there. So Jett, maybe a couple years ago, he might have been able to get away with riding at 80% and win the championship being injured with a torn ACL. But I personally think that this is the best move for him, because it's not just racing. You kind of have to have the whole house of cards in play to do well. Your home life's got to be great. And what's kind of going on right now? I heard him get booed at A1. I heard him get booed at San Diego. He didn't get booed at Glendale, but I think that's because the whole narrative has switched to, poor Jett, because of what's going on with Lucas Myrtle, which I'll cover that just a tiny bit, because it's moot point. But my point being is it's the best for him to just chill out, put his feet up, right? And enjoy taking a break for once. These guys race 33 weeks out of the year, and they're testing and practicing almost the rest of them. They barely have any time off, and the travel schedule is a nightmare. So in my opinion, him taking time off, getting his surgery done is the best thing for him, because he'll come back hungry. I don't think it's going to be a situation where you had Stewart leave to go do the Bubba show, and all of a sudden then Dungey comes up and he's ready to go. I don't really know if there's any big 250 guys that are going to come up and haven't lived in the world of Jett somewhat being the guy to beat, unless it's Deegan. But I don't know if he's going to go 2026. It'd be interesting. I know I've alluded to potentially him getting on the Ducati in 2026, but gosh, he'd have to win everything. The 250 in motocross and then super motocross again for him to warrant move up to the 450 class, in my opinion. And it has to come with a huge paycheck. So here, just because I'm continuing to digress, let's hear what he had to say.
What's up, guys? Yeah, little update of the weekend. Wasn't very ideal. So I got the results today and ended up tearing my ACL. It is cooked, in other words, and a slight tear in my meniscus. So I'm going for surgery tomorrow at 11:30. Going to get that fixed up and have 4 months, I think it is, to recover. The recovery time, as the doctor said. So
4 months.
Yeah, not ideal. Was really bummed. I was hoping the worst would be maybe bone bruising, but sadly not. But no, I just want to have a huge shout out to everyone, as the team, the fans, especially the team. We've been working hard to get this bike better, and the bike was feeling good on the weekend. So it's sad, but we'll come.
4 effing months. Are you kidding me, man? I've heard so much stuff. I've done mine 3 times, and I've done the what is it? The hamstring, the patella tendon, and I think those are the only 2 that I've done. You also can do like the baby transplant. Anyway, my point being is it's always been 6 months minimum to now. The new consensus was around 9 months for it to fully heal. And I came back at 3 months after one, and it was awful, right? So maybe they can pump them up with some human growth hormone or something to where 4 months months, he's back together and he's boom, boom, boom. Is that enough for motocross? Potentially, right? I think that is the goal, is for him to be ready for motocross. So there's going to be a lot of rehab involved, and he's probably going to have a really good surgeon and potentially, I want to say some extra help, right? Because the human body is just the human body. They say Lance Armstrong, he's got an abnormal double heart. Well, that's kind of what growth hormone does, is it makes you bigger. Anyway, I'm not alluding to anything. I'm just saying I'd like to see him back as soon as possible. So whatever it takes, I want to see him do it. But more than anything, I think it's going to be time for him to heal his mental attitude, right? Because listening to him at A1 at the press conference, he was straight up said, everyone doesn't like me anymore, and I don't care. And I'm like, we are hunters and gatherers for the last 200,000 years. The lone wolf dies while the pack survives. Even though you say you don't care what people think of you, it's still something in the back of your mind, right? And I think that has been a move past with this whole Lucas Myrtle thing. But my point, again, is we're going to see the best Jett Lawrence in motocross, and it's going to be awesome. It's a bummer that this happened, and there's going to be no asterisk. If you listen to my podcast this week with Zach Osborne, we were talking about the asterisks in the seasons, and, he was like, you have to be there. You have to be there 17 rounds. So this is a time for a send off for Tomac, right? The opportunity, lightning doesn't strike twice. So for me, that's my favorite to win the series right now. And I know you guys are all bummed that he is hurt, and me too, absolutely. But if I talk about just a brief bit, because all the court filings are public, you can get them for free, basically. Well, sometimes it's like $10 to get these things, but pretty much what the rumors that I was hearing about the $600,000 ends up being pretty accurate, right? And truth be told, what this document is saying that the Lawrence brothers are alleging is that Lucas Myrtle was using the Lawrence's funds to pay other people, right? And then he was going to put the funds back. That's not really how things work. You can't, if you work for a company, you can't take money out of their business account to pay your own personal bills or to help somebody else or start another business. And then as you make money with that, move it back. That's illegal, right? So I do think that Lucas is in a big pile of doo-doo. Just because you've done it once doesn't mean you can get away with it forever. And there's that saying that never do anything once that you're not willing to do the rest of your life. So I could see that, but allegedly that's what this document is stating, and it doesn't seem too good. Additional money is totally at least 140,000. It's just like, dang it, dude, dang it. What are we doing here? And we also have the homeboy, the MotoGP champ. He ended up he's going to fly back and undergo right hand and left foot surgery. And I do believe I have a photo of him flying home. And he's on the mend, right? And so there's a lot of guys that at the first test there for MotoGP ended up getting hurt. And for Martin, I don't know if this is going to help him as much, because he needs the time to test with the team, where you have Jett. He already pretty much knows the bike. He's been on it for a while, and he just needs to change his attitude and the narrative, right? So I think it was good. Sometimes I bet it's a relief for Jett to be injured, because it's like, all right, I can hang back, read a book, play video games. I don't know, just camp out and recoup a little bit versus all this the stress that is social media and racing. But for the MotoGP champ, this is going to be tough. I do think he can bounce back, and I don't think he's going to have as long of a time off as Jett, but still a big bummer. And a little bit in other news. Well, I guess news. First off, I want to say, hey, go give Coach Rob a follow for me. Right? The dude does so much, and he's all about helping riders and just general fitness. So go to Coach Rob Beams on YouTube and just hit him a follow. He's got a podcast that he gives out. He gives out a lot of free information. And usually, information like this is around like $1,000 a month. So for you to have like a private coach just to look at. He's got so much on here. He's got 1.5 thousand videos. So go give him a follow for me. And we've got Honda's contingency program that got released, and it is around $128,000 for everybody, which is super, super dope, right? It almost makes me want to go buy a Honda, because with everything going on with KTM, people have been fiscally tightening their wallets, which has been somewhat of a bummer. So it's good to see that Honda is giving back a little bit. And this week is going to be super exciting, because we have everybody that ran away from Deegan racing on the East Coast. And not to mention, if you saw my track breakdown, the 2 sand sections are going to be dope, along with just the massive, massive ruts. But here, let's just go over this. Okay. Hymas, right? He is Joe Shimoda's teammate, and he had knee surgery in September. So that's what, around 3 months. Same thing with Jett. There's something going on with these guys. Pro Circuit, hopefully they don't just start falling out where they start losing everybody. You got Crash to do here. Unfortunately, that's just the nickname everybody gets him. He's got potential to win. Probably my favorite is Levi Kitchen. And RJ Hampshire, the defending champ, he should win it unless he defeats himself, because he can sometimes do that. Casey Cochran is kind of in the same realm of the Red Bull KTM squad, where you're like, hey, you don't have a job next year. What are you going to do? Tom Vial, still. Vial is my favorite, and I do think he's going to do exceptionally well, especially with the 9 whoop deal, right? That really helps the European guys out that didn't grow up just being blind and drop the elbow through the whoops, just da, 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 da. And I think that has been a weakness of his that he has been working on. So it's going to be difficult for him to beat the likes of Kitchen and RJ. But I do think that he is got better racecraft, meaning that he's going to have better results. Almost kind of like, I want to say, oh, dang it, you guys said that Cochran's out. Well, that's a bummer. We'll see. Hopefully they can get somebody to fill. But do you notice how they say Rockstar Energy gas, and then the Husky, that these guys are going to be under the same tent, right? Red Bull KTM is still going to have their own factory, but the other 2 teams are going to have just under one tent. But I'm digressing yet again. My train of thought is he's going to have somewhat results, kind of like Roxon, where you will see him probably on the podium every round. And then Star Yamaha, you've got the old man, Max, and Pierce Brown. This will be interesting, him being on Star Yamaha. Then you got the young gun. If he starts riding as well as Cole Davies, dude, that's going to be interesting. And then Nate Thrasher, who's sort of like a Jordan Smith on the team, and we'll see what he's going to do. Austin Faulkner, high hopes for this SOB. Like, come on, man. Let's not get injured again. Please. Let's not get injured again. And then you've got the Club MX guys, Mark Finnis. This will be his debut, which is super, super cool. Max Voland, right? He lost his ride, so he's now on Club MX. Phoenix Honda, Quadlock, Rock River. These guys, kind of a couple of them. I think TJ was racing the other round as well, too. But anyway, probably my favorite to win is going to be Tom Vial, right? Tom Vial, just because Matt, I'm a big fan. Underdog, I want to say Austin Faulkner for sure. Oh, this was a scary crash for Moto America where Corey Alexander, dude, thank God for these safety barriers. That was bam. Here, I just want to see that one more time. So it looks like he let off the gas. Okay. So in the back ass end just whipped back around. Hauling ass. And then the rear wheel caught and he let off. So then it high-sided on him. And he might have been able to save it if he just kept it on the throttle. But he also could have then hit the wall much harder. And that motorcycle is toast. I hear that he is okay from this, but gnarly, gnarly, gnarly. Hey, that was a short news show for this week. Super excited. If I had to put in my picks for the racing, if you guys watched my other video on the track analysis, you know that I'm hoping for Kenny to win. But till next time, let's keep it WFO. Ba-ra-da-da-da-da-da.